division.
Can't go chalk.
I still don't believe he
All right.
did that.
Can't go chalk.
Yesterday, you had the Packers winning the division
Yes.
in the NFC North. But you did that last year.
I did that last year as well.
So you were a seer a bit last year.
A little bit.
Rockstar Donovan.
So now it's time for the NFC South.
All right.
And I have a feeling we're going to be very chalky, and we're all going to pick the same things. I'm going to say that, but
We might not.
we'll see. Chris Brockman, you're first up. Let's predict the NFC South.
Okay, here we go. I think it's obvious who I think is going to win the South, not only because, I have to live with someone who's a Falcons fan, but they did improve across the board, especially at quarterback and at head coach. I like the Falcons to win the South. The Bucs are going to be right there again, competing for a playoff spot. I still like what they did. They brought everybody back. And look, I think Dennis Allen gets fired. I think Spencer Rattler is the starting quarterback by Halloween. And it's going to be a rough year for the Saints. And I think Dave Canales, we've seen what he's done the last couple of spots. He turned Baker around in Tampa. Geno Smith had his breakthrough year with Seattle. The common theme there was Dave Canales. He's now in Carolina. I think he does it for Bryce Young. He pumps them up a little bit. I'm not saying it's like a 500 year, but they could easily go 6-11. That's good enough for the 3 spot. Falcons, Bucks, Panthers, Saints.
You do realize that does go, what you said about the Saints would go hand in hand. We had this conversation on the Overreaction Monday podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And that if Spencer Rattler becomes the starting quarterback of the Saints by Halloween, that would mean Dennis Allen is fired. Because things would be so
they got a rough schedule.
Awful.
They got a rough start.
Their win-loss in the first half of the season would be so untenable that he would be fired mid-season.
Rip the Band-Aid off, go to the kid.
So you don't believe that they've totally revamped the offense, that it has been completely page-turned from the Sean Payton era. They bring somebody else in that suits Derek Carr, that Olave is one of the top receivers in the game. Kamara recatches lightning in a bottle. They're not that bad as you think.
To quote you, Rich, I got to see it, and I'm not a believer.
TJ? NFC South.
NFC South, well, I think we're going to differ here a little bit as to my winner, and that is I'm going to stick with the Bucs winning this division.
All right.
I feel like they improved a little bit on defense. They didn't really lose too many top stars. And so with the Falcons, you do have a new head coach, you have a new quarterback, a new system. Got to see how that's going to translate onto the field, especially, in season 1. And then the Saints and the Panthers, I got them rounding out the NFC.
So you have the Panthers finishing in last again. Yeah. Okay. So,
but improving.
I don't blame you for saying what you said about the Buccaneers. And as you know, I'm a big Baker Mayfield guy. I've been accused of claiming him on my taxes.
Yeah,
Is it dependent?
He's a dependent. Yep.
All right, even though I'd be probably dependent on his tax form now with his new contract.
True. No, I've seen your card, bro.
And kudos again to Jason Light, the general manager there, for keeping everybody. That was a really tough or tall order for him last March to keep everybody, and they did. I mean, from Evans and Baker to Levante David to the kicker to paying Tristan Wirfs. I mean, very well done for a team that finished strong in the playoffs last year. That said, I'm going with the Falcons to win this division.
Okay.
Boy, do I love adding Judon and Simmons. I was going back and forth between the Falcons and the Bucs because I do need to see. Listen, they got their veteran quarterback who can sling it. Okay, I get it. I understand what Kirk Cousins has done in other places. I need to see it with Drake London. Bijan, I hope you are right, and I hope everybody's right, that he is such a bright spot this year, that he takes such a leap forward. We're talking offensive player of the year in this offense. And we did in a way we didn't see it because he got vultured, and Arthur Smith was just keeping the foot off the gas in a way last year. And I got to see it. I am, and I'll say this. I was high on the guy when he first got drafted. I am done drafting Kyle Pitts in fantasy football.
You're not alone.
I
You're not alone.
Absolutely, I don't care. And I, with all due respect, I should have said in advance. But defensively, adding those two dudes, those two hombres, to a defense that already is pretty damn good with Raheem Morris being the coach, I really like the Falcons to win this division. And I'm going with the Bucs, Saints, Panthers after that. And that's my NFC South. That's interesting. I think we were all going to be chalky, and we were all different.
You're all different. One playoff team from this division?
I don't know. I think the Bucks can make it. But again, don't forget the Bucks last year. They didn't finish a house of fire. Right. The rest of the division wasn't all that great.
They're only 9.
They did do what they needed to do, which was in a home playoff game against a disintegrating Philadelphia Eagles, and then went to
almost
Detroit and played their cash, their house money. Yeah. They played their house money and gave it a nice run in Detroit, where that home field advantage was significant. You could hear it through your television set if you weren't there. So.
Was El Tufo doing the game? Because
I don't know. I doubt it.
Sounded great.
I doubt it. Mike wasn't even paying attention.
Yes, I was.
So you had to sit there and think, did you work an actual playoff game last year?
No.
Okay, so there you go. That's the answer.
No. But I was at Fox that day, so I...
Okay. I feel like this should be like a Few Good Men. Like, let's get the logs. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or at least let's get two guys
Yes.
dressed like Fox security
what were they
sitting in the
testify
corner.
to?
We're going to have them come on shortly.
Absolutely nothing whatsoever.
Right? Like, let's.
And they're going to just sit on the couch and pretend to testify that Mike was there or not there that day.
And who's going to say otherwise? You, Lieutenant Brockman?
Yeah, exactly.
I love you guys.
I feel like we should do that. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel.